Hello. So in this video, what we're going to do is look at the current state of the bot. So we've got the locomotion, or the move forward, he's just set to running. He's not using the blend space. If we hit the space bar, he's doing this double jump thing. And I also want to enable sneak. Okay. So let's start with the jumping. So let's go to the our locomotion state machine. So under, if we click jump idle, select it, we've got loop animation on. And if we come back and click on jump start, we can see that we also have loop on. So I need to turn that off. So let's compile, save, back and press play. So now I'm walking, and if I hit jump, no longer doing the double jump thing. So just got to make sure you know what's supposed to be looping and what isn't. Okay, another thing in our character blueprint, something really important I'd like to point out, something I learned at the Unreal training that I wasn't familiar with. So when you go down to character movement, there's a lot of things. I mean, this is where we set the majority of our parameters. Okay, and so one thing, and what these are, little arrows. If you see an arrow, that means that it's not at the default. So if you're setting up a third person control, and so what I would do is open up the third person template, and you can check to see which things have been changed, and that'll give you an idea of what to change when you're setting up something for your own character. Now, if you want to find out what hasn't been changed, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so here, if we go back to our blend space, we've got our max run speed set to 100. And then our walk speed here is set to 25. Okay, so if we go to our character blueprint, and let's set the max walk speed to 100. Okay, so he's going straight into that max walk speed, which is 100, but we can tell he's not really moving as fast as he should be. His feet are slipping. Okay, so let's go to the blend space, and let's set this to I think the actual value that works for this is 325, and I just know that just because I've done this before. So I'm going to hit save. Let's go back to the character blueprint, character movement, and again, so what I've done here is I've just typed, sometimes this max walk speed is hard to find. Here we go, character movement, walking, max walk speed. So we could also just say max walk and just get right to where we want to be there. So I'm going to set this to 325. File, save, and let's just see if that's the speed I want to be at. Yeah, so that looks right. His feet don't look like he's slipping. Okay. So now what I want to do, so again back to our blend space, he's walking at 82, but the max walk speed is 325, and so we don't really have a way to slow this. This is really meant for, like, if you've got a controller, since we're just pressing a key, currently we can't set this to different values and take advantage of the blend from walk to run. Okay, so we're going to add that functionality in. So let's go to, let's see, we want to go to the, let's go to the character blueprint. And so what we want to do is add in a sprint. Okay, so we'll go to project settings. Let's go to input. And let's add in a sprint. Okay, and so for the actions for sprint, I'm going to put this keyboard both both left or right shift. And here we go, left shift. Right shift. Okay. Sometimes I use my left hand with the mouse, so I like to be able to press these modifiers on both sides of the keyboard. Okay, so that's in. So let's go back to the character blueprint, and so now let's add, just like we did over here, let's add that input. So right click, put action or event. Okay, so we've got sprint right here. I just put it in. Okay. So and now what we want to do is if sprint's pressed, we want to speed up over time. So to do that, we're going to right click and we're going to just type in timeline. So we're going to say add timeline. Call this speed about sprint timeline. Okay, so if it's pressed, we're going to play, and if it's released, we're going to reverse. So not reverse as in go backwards, but reverse as in this timeline we're going to set up. Okay, so we're going to double click this. We're going to add a float variable or a float track. Let's give it a name. Let's call this speed up. And we're going to go here and right click and add a key. So let's set that time at 0. And so currently we have our blend space. We have that set to 81. Okay, so let's set that value at 81. Let's add another keyframe over here. Add key, and let's set that value at 1. And or the time to 1, and let's set the value at 325. So now if I press F, I can see the two keys. So if I'm going 81, then as the time goes up, I can, over a second, I can be going up to 325. Okay, so let's go back to the event graph. So now we're going to set the walk. So now we're going to set the walk speed. The walk speed was already set, but we're going to use this timeline to set the walk speed. So let's go in and type walk, or set the max walk speed. Now I know that that's what it's called, but I can't see it from here. So if I click off this context sensitive, well, now I can, this is now exposed, this set max walk speed. So I can click on that. Okay, so then I can set this to update. And so here's this variable that I made, that float variable. So I'll set that to max walk speed. Then for target, I want to get character movement. Is that the right one? Yeah. Okay. So now let's put a, select all that, press C, and then we'll call this sprint. That's the comment. And so let's compile, save, and let's see how that looks. Okay, so now I'm walking. Okay, so I'm walking there, press the shift, and then I speed up to the running. But he only slows down if I made him run to begin with. So when he first starts, in other words, let's start this again, play. So when he first starts, he takes off running. Okay, and that's because that walk speed over here in the character blueprint, under character movement, that's set at 325. That's its default. So let's set it to over here, 81. So let's set it to 81. So that's the max walk speed. Unless we press the jump key, or the space bar, and then this will take him up to the 325 over time. Okay, so let's compile, go back here, save, and let's try this again now. Okay, so now he's walking, and then if I hold down the shift, he speeds up. Okay. Now that's pretty good, except his feet are sliding, so he needs to be walking a little bit faster. So that's just something we'll need to play with. Escape, let's go back to character blueprint, max walk speed. So let's just change this, and you can just try different values. I'm pretty sure 125 is what's going to work for the speed. Yeah, so that's about the right speed. Now he has sort of started into the sprint animation, but I think that speed's about right. So we also need to change it in the blend space. Okay, so you can only put these numbers where you've got a division here. So looks like I'm going to need a division about right here. So I just need to play 13, 100, 125. That's the magic number of grid divisions, so I can get to that number of 125. So let's save that. Back here again in my character blueprint, character movement 125 for the max. Let's play. And that's what I want. So if I hold down shift, over a second he gets into running. Go. Alrighty, so that's setting up the sprint.